Okay, so we're going to be working on piecewise functions. So the first thing I want to do is go to the classroom functions practice where we are actually graphing a piecewise function. So, and let me pick a good color here so we can see what we're doing. And I think I'll do black for now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is figure out what to graph. So I have f of x equals x squared minus 2, and I have f of x equals x plus 1. So really, if you think of this as y, I have y equals x squared minus 2, and the other function that I'm graphing is y equals x plus 1. And the first thing I do is I look at where this function breaks, this piecewise function breaks, and it breaks at x equals 1. And if you look at it, 1 is only in the second piece. So we're going to start here and do 1 something. We're going to start right where it breaks. And I know that the 1 is not in this piece, so I'm going to put a circle because that'll be our open circle on the graph. So here it says x is less than 1, and then I'm going to do x squared minus 2. So let's do 1 first. 1 squared minus 2 is negative 1. And then I'm going to go down because it says less than 1. So I'm going to have 0. Put 0 squared minus 2 is negative 2. Negative 1 squared is 1. Minus 2 is negative 1. Negative 2 squared is 4. Minus 2 is 2. Negative 3 squared is 9, minus 2 is 7, and so on and so forth. So I'm just giving a few points for us to graph. Now the point 1 is really in this piece here, and I plugged in here, 1 plus 1 is 2, and then it says it's greater than that, so I'm going to try 2 is 3, 3 is 4, 4 is 5, and then I keep going, and then I'll have some points for that piece. So again, we're going to do this. So I have 1, negative 1. So here's 1, negative 1. It's going to be an open circle. And then I'm going to go through and put the other points there. 0, negative 2, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, 2, negative 3, 7. And you'll see this is part, and I think I made a mistake here. Let me erase this. Here's my eraser. So I have 0, negative 2, negative 1, negative 1. I think I put that on the wrong. So let's fix that. So 0, negative 2 is right here, and then negative 1 is there. So my fault. So now I'm going to go through, swing an arc through there. So that part is part of a parabola. Now the other piece, the point 1, 2, is actually there. So I'm going to put that as a closed circle, and then I'm going to put 2, 3. Again, I messed that up. I hate it when I do this on a video, so let's erase this. It's the point 1, 2. So let's try this one more time. The point 1, 2, then the point 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. And so now I have that line that way. So I just graphed that piecewise function. Part was a parabola, and you'll notice it still is a function from here to here because I only have one filled in circle. Okay, let's try another one here that we're graphing. Here, this one has got 3 pieces. So I'm going to start out with a dark color first. So I have top down, left to right. So I have y equals x is the first piece, y equals x minus 1 is the middle piece, and y equals x squared is the third piece. I'm going to set this all up, and we're going to put some points there. If you'll notice, x is less than negative 2, and then the middle is from negative 2 to 1, so I have a breaking point at negative 2, so I'm going to put negative 2, something in these 2 pieces, because that's where it breaks. And then it breaks again at 1, so I'm going to put that here, and I'm going to come down here and put 1, because it's going to go from negative 2 to 1. As you can see, negative 2 is in this piece and 1, but here, the 1 is not really in this piece, so that's going to be an open circle, and negative 2 is not really in this piece, so I'm going to put that as an open circle. Now I'm going to go through and put some points down. All right, so we're going to go negative 3 because I've got to go less, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, and then this could keep going. So when I put negative 2 in there, I get negative 2, negative 3 in there, I get itself, itself for -4, -5, -6. So I have some points on that graph. The middle, -2, is actually in there. So -2 minus 1 is -3. And then I have -1, which is -2. Then I have 0, -1, and then I have 1, 0. So those 4 points are on the middle. Here I put a 1, 1 squared is 1, and it says to go greater. 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, and then I'm just going to keep going from there because it says it's greater than 1. Now I'm going to come over and graph this. So I have -2, -2, which is here, which is an open circle. -3, -3, -4, -4. Get the idea? This is this part of my piecewise function. And that's an open circle because 2, -2 is not really on that part of the graph. Actually, 2, -3 is on the graph right here. -1, -2 is here. 0, -1, and 1, 0. So all of this is there. These are all closed circles, and that part of the graph is there. The 0.11 is not really on the graph, so I'm going to put it there. And then I've got 2, 4, and 3, 9. So this part is part of a parabola. It looks kind of straight, but it really isn't. Okay, so that's how I would graph using that. Now, I will show you in class how to use the graphing calculator to check it, but this is the kind of work that I want you to show. So that's the end of this recording.